and we'll move into what you've been playing. I'll reintroduce the gang, even though it might be slim. I don't know if I cut it up this time because we're not talking too many games, at least on my end. But hey, Carlos Macias, Dalan Kirkwood, Luis Mendez, me and Luis and myself have been playing Modern Warfare 3. I've been playing the multiplayer aspect of it, but we'll get to what have you been playing, Luis? How have you been getting down with Modern Warfare 3 the last week?
Both playing Warzone and but this past week, yeah, I've been playing Warzone. But since the last time I've been here, I actually finished the campaign, and yeah, I did like the story. I liked what they did with it there, but it was short. It was very short. It ended at a very abrupt time. And you're like, oh, this is where the story ends.
Yeah.
Even though you can tell it's going to continue in the next installment.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it stops at such a weird point. So that's just my biggest gripe with the campaign is overall I did enjoy it. I did like it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But then the story kind of just stops. And
They,
you're like, oh, okay.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone because it's a big deal. But there's something that happens to one of the characters, the main characters, and it feels like. Well, you guys know how I feel about the game. I didn't feel like it was that great, but I feel like in that sense it spoils the like, damn, you guys really wasted this dramatic ass moment for like basically a glorified DLC. Did you feel? Well, you did like it though. You did like it. Did you feel like it was like earned? Did you feel like you know what I'm talking about, right? The dramatic something happens to a main character.
Yeah, I played the game.
Well, I just don't want to spoil any further. I guess is what I'm saying. Do you feel like it was earned to see that happen?
I don't know if I went too far into was it an earned thing that should have been on screen or not. I just felt like it was on a good roll.
Okay.
It had good pacing. It was doing really so. This I have trouble with the pacing on this because it picks up. It's nice and actiony. The story is picking up, and then it just goes. Oh, by the way, we'll tell the rest of it in like a year or two, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Well, it's gonna be in 2 years.
That was just it.
It's gonna be in 2 years, right? The fact that
there you go, a year or two.
Well, because Gulf War is the next year, right? So we'll get the right. I think that's kind of the reports. That's what the reports are saying.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's funny if it was worth not being on screen. I just feel like well, maybe it's just my thing when I go watch a movie. It's kind of like you watch these movies where it's a sad moment and they kind of built up to it and they earn it. That's what I call it. They earn that my feelings, my quarter of a tear feeling. And I was like, what the fuck? This is what you guys wasted this shit on? This is an emotional moment, and then like on glorified DLC, and it's like, okay, I mean, it is sad and it's kind of cool what happens after, but I was like, man, this is what you guys wasted this on. But in 2 years, I myself, like I was saying, I've been playing the multiplayer. It's pretty fun. I like it. I did figure out that there's a new move. Maybe this is what Prue's been talking about. But when you slide, you go into a slide and you can like snake around. That's kind of cool. Have they done that before? Am I just easily impressed and something I should have known before?
You're easily impressed.
I don't know if you're talking about a slide cancel or not.
Is that what it is?
I can't tell if you're talking about a slide cancel.
No, he's talking about slide move. It's one of those things where they built the ability to slide in the game, but if you use the move stick, like you're actually strafing, your character will turn and slide in a different direction, just slowly. You know, like in some video games, how you're sliding down like a hill or something like that, and you got to dodge rocks. He's talking about you could do that now.
You kind of like.
I know about the snaking. That's a bug. I know about that
it's
one.
a bug.
When you're like
okay.
rocking around like a snake.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how slide canceling started. Slide canceling was a bug, and then they just left it in the game because people liked it.
So it's funny though that like for Warzone they're finally integrating it right into 3 this week. Is that what's happening? Because I know for us to play Warzone, we were playing some multiplayer in 3, and then to play Warzone, of course, it like boots you into like Modern Warfare 2, right? To go back into that one. Are they fully integrating it or not yet? They're just introducing the new map. Do you know?
The new season of Warzone will feature basically Modern Warfare 3 movement and weapons. Okay. Is what it is. But yeah, it will be with the new map for Verdansk, I think it is. Yeah. Or is it Urzikstan? I think it's Urzikstan. Yeah, Verdansk was the first one. So it'll have Urzikstan, and then also Ashika and Vondel will kind of be in the rotation as well. But yeah, it'll have 3 maps.
Nice.
I think.
We're gonna play it though. I'm gonna keep it. Look, I did kind of convince my nephew-in-law to grab it. I was like, "Are you gonna pick it up?" He's like, "I don't have the money for it." And then 10 minutes later, he's like, "I bought it." I was like, "Ah, damn. Okay, now I have to keep the copy, so it's gonna be in the rotation list, so we could get down with that if you know if you allow me to join. I'll say it that way, you know. I was gonna say if we invite you, but no, man, I want to be gracious here, you know. And like, are you gonna go? So I don't think you were on the podcast last week when we were talking about the trophies, the campaign trophies. Are you gonna mess with any of those? They're kind of fun. Or I guess you're on PC.
I played it on PC, so I don't really care. Yeah.
Okay. They're kind of nice, man. Some of those trophies, they're very like, or achievements or whatever they call it on PC. But they're pretty nice, man. They're pretty entertaining. Like some of them are like, okay, you're being very economical. Just one bullet, 2 people, and do that multiple times through this map. So it actually got me to know some of these open combat levels. Not enough they're good, but enough to like, they're interesting. You can kind of do stuff in this. Anything else on that before we get to what you yourself have been playing, Luis?
No.
Okay, sir. What have you yourself have been playing?
I finally took a deep breath and relaunched Starfield to see what's going on in there, because I know I didn't give it its moment to shine, or at least to even try to see if I really like the game or dislike the game.
Yeah.
It's a fun game, dude. It's a fun game. I do see, you know, why it's not like up in the game of the year VGA's debate or whatever, but it is a fun game. It's just it takes a minute to get used to all the mechanics again. If you've been away from that game for a while, you're like, wait a minute, how do I even just like activate a quest? It gets pretty complex. It is pretty complex. But yeah, I was playing what I thought was a main quest. I think I did it for like 2-3 hours, probably like 3 hours, and then I got to a point where it got really difficult and I couldn't get past it, and I kind of was like, all right, let me just get out of here, let me just get out of this cave. Come to find out, it's just some side quest, some random story that has nothing to do with the main story that I invested like 3 hours in. So I was like, all right, I just
now is that a pro or like a con? You would say that I think I gotta say I didn't play it for too long. I still gotta get back to it, but I feel like I'm understanding. I get what you're saying. I think I was working on something, and I later found I was like, this ain't even critical pathing. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's kind of I mean, it's good in the sense that I enjoyed what I was playing, but it's a con in the sense that I didn't understand that the quest that the game was like, hey, play this one, do this right now. I didn't understand that it was pushing me to play a side quest.
Okay. Gotcha.
When I did it, until I kind of went into the quest tab, and because they all have different icons, and for whatever reason I couldn't differentiate between main quests and side quests because they all just had like a different icon.
Yeah.
Each quest had a different icon. I mean, not like different types of quests.
Yeah.
So, until I like kind of read the quote unquote fine print, and I was like, oh, this is just some random bullshit that I don't necessarily.
I would like to think that
Did you at least finish the quest?
No, I'm too low level, dude. I can't. I gotta actually play the main quest, level up, and then go back.
Luis, I would like to think that it actually says it on the quest. This is just some random bullshit that you're working on.
It does.
Is what it reads.
Are you gonna see?
They got me out here on farms and shit. When I don't know what I should be doing.
Are you you gonna see it through? You feel like you're gonna see it through, or you might fall off at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I always, from the moment I initially launched Starfield, I always felt like this is gonna be a game that I will be playing on and off for like 3 or 4 years. I always kind of felt when I saw that, because of how massive it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all just a question of how frequently do I go back to it. But I think I'll try to play it at least like once a week.
Now is it do you feel like how it's massive, or is it Sean Murray massive? Because that's, you know, these randomly generated like maps and from what I understand, the critical path is like maybe 15 hours or something like that. You know, so.
Well, for the stuff that I went onto side quests, I don't know if that was procedurally generated or not. Everything I've run into, I haven't looked at it and been like, this looks like it wasn't built by a level designer. So I think they've done a pretty good job of all of that, even if I've run into some procedurally generated stuff.
Okay, there you go. That's definitely one. Before we get to like our game of the year stuff, I definitely got to get to that one. That one, Cyberpunk, the DLC, and Alan Wake 2, man, I think are the one. Baldur's Gate 3, Dalan, I might be, You might have unconvinced me, sir.
Don't do it.
You might have unconvinced me.
It's D&D.
You know it's a D&D, right? Like, well, yeah, I understand that.
I know. I was here. It's not your kind of game, Carlos. Like,
All right. If I got a little,
he's gonna say you're gonna hate it.
Look, the problem is it's digital, right? Otherwise, I would have gameflied it and would have found out already. So, and I know the physical version is coming out in January. So, we'll see. There's plenty to play. Look, my thing is very. Oh, are you done with that, Luis? Or you have anything else on Starfield?
I'm good, yeah.
All right. Look, for me, it's very quick. This past week, I've just been playing Mario, man. This game is starting to get really hard. I'm at the very, very last level, and I like the nomenclature of, like, this is the final world secret map or whatever it is. Okay, you motherfuckers. All right. But that game gets really hard in a way that I really appreciate, though, because it's very, like, I'm going to beat this thing. But I will say this, Dan. So I'm at the very final level. I was like, yesterday, all right, I'll give it, like, 20 minutes. I'll beat it. Then let me start getting into Spider-Man 2. And it was like 2 hours later, I was like, still struggling with this level. Good thing they have checkpoints. So Dan, the final level, how many checkpoints do they have, man? I got to 1. Tell me there's another one, please.
They have 3 checkpoints.
And each one is more infuriating than the last. You do master it, though. Master the level.
I will be honest. There is one part in that final level that I got caught on. The one that I will semi-spoil for.
No spoiler. Just tell me it's a checkpoint.
I said semi. So people understand what I'm saying when I say this. Is that the last level is to go through multiple powers that you get in the game. You have a little section.
Yeah, that's the whole conceit of that level. Yeah.
But the one section that I was super stuck on, there's a hat that you get in this game. It's called the spring hat, where you do nothing but jump. It just automatically makes you jump.
That's
and
where
twirl.
I'm stuck, dude. That's where
I hated that part of the level.
It gets easier after that. It gets easier after that. Hopefully, maybe.
After that, there were some minor parts where I had to get used to it again. Yeah. But that spring part, that was the worst part of that level. The worst.
Well, because to give a little more description, right? It's the circling fireballs that you've seen since Mario 1, Mario 2, or wherever it was. Like it circles the fireball, horizontal thing or whatever. But you're bouncing automatically. You can't control the bounce. You can only control it so much. And every bounce, they give you like a little square of space to land in. Otherwise, you will get murdered by the fireballs. But I will beat it. Dan, how much time did it take you, sir? And I think you're a little bit better at video games than I am. So take that into account.
I was on it for like, honestly, I was doing that one level for like 4 hours.
No, look.
I went through 150 lives. You only have a max of 99 lives. I did it so many times that I kept collecting coins and getting lives.
Yeah. That's what's funny. I was like, you told me this off wax, and I was like, you can only get up to 100, man. I don't know what's going on here. And you can collect enough coins that you'll, regain them and stuff like that. I am gonna set a limit to this, Dan. I do not want to be stuck on this for like days and days. I'm gonna give it the good old college try for like half an hour a day or something, man, because I gotta play something else. I gotta play something else, man. I was ready to play Spider-Man 2 yesterday. I was like, I'm gonna beat this. Let me get into some Miles Morales story real quick. The future of the Spider-Man world. But it wasn't meant to be.
Bother you too much. As soon as you pick up that game and you start getting there, you're gonna be like, nah, I gotta beat it. I gotta beat it. Oh, my alarm went off. Nah, I gotta beat it.
I stayed up an extra hour yesterday, man, and I'm a little sickly. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I was like, I need to get to bed. But I was like, okay, let me get down to 55 lives. And it's like, you know what? I didn't get to the point I needed to get to. So it's Mario Wonder, man. It's wonderful. Once you get to those hard levels, it's infuriating, but it's like in a good way.
Hey, I enjoyed the quick jump levels. The one that you have to jump to the beat. It's like TikTok of the platforms are falling from under your feet. I enjoyed those are especially nice. The last one.
Yeah, some are not necessarily super hard, but they're very like the design.
Challenging.
I mean, these guys are master. Look, no spoilers, but Wonder is pretty wonderful, and we're gonna find out when we get to our Game of the Year talks. Dalan, what have you been playing, sir? We'll end it on what you've been playing.
All right, so I didn't actually put the whole list of things I've been playing because I went back to do things like Pistol Whip so I can get some exercise and Beat Saber. And
you only get exercise with your right arm, man. You only it's only is it two-handed dual? Cause
you can do it dual, but I normally try to do it one-handed. But I put it on hard mode, and you're still dodging bullets all day. You're feeling it in your abs.
That's true. But you really only have the one arm that you're shooting. But my bad. Go ahead, Dalan.
For the most part, you only got one gun. But aside from those general games that I had gone back to try and play, I loaded up Cris Tales again. I was almost turned off from this game because the homie Jeremy, I'll put him on last, Jeremy, our friend Jeremy. The fact is, he said this game was not what I thought it was going to be, so he stopped playing it. And it made me sad. So it made me think it was a terrible RPG for a minute.
Yeah.
But then I actually went back and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a real shot for myself just to see how I like it. This game is not bad. It has some childish moments. You can feel how it's like very fosters home for imaginary friends in some cases, and you're like, why would these people even have these thought processes? But outside of that, the game is actually a solid RPG. So I actually intend on continuing to play through it and beat this game.
Is it is it on Plus Supreme, or what are we looking at here? Or Game
Pass? I know it was on Plus Supreme. I don't know if it still is because I purchased it. So
okay.
You
That's
can definitely check.
It's a ringing endorsement right there, Dalan. The fact that you're I'm going to plunk down cash for it.
I know it was on Xbox Game Pass for sure at some point. So just check. You tell me. You tell me.
Just Google it. Whoever's listening, just Google. We don't know. Just Google it. What else, Dalan?
But outside of that, the one game that has been my constant this past week, because Remnant 2 became free on the Xbox Game Pass, as we mentioned earlier. Another one of my homies, Ricky, he hopped on it, and we started playing co-op. Like, you can just go through the entire game together if you wanted to. But I learned something about this game that I was not aware of, is that for each time you start the game, the worlds are shuffled. So you will each have completely different places.
It's roguelike-ish. I'm starting not to like this, Dalan.
No. That roguelike-ish is not really roguelike. It's just they put you in a version of the world, and they give you one of like 4 different storylines that you can go through. And they'll put different dungeons on that map. And it'll just be set that whole playthrough. You don't have to re-roll anything.
How close
set that one time.
Is this to Returnal, man? Because Returnal,
nowhere near it. Nowhere near it.
Returnal will mix shit up, and I'm like, no.
No, it's not like it'll reshuffle every time you die.
Okay.
It is, once you are in that world, that is the world. The game has chosen that path for you.
Okay.
It will not reshuffle unless you decide that you want to reshuffle the campaign. You don't have to reshuffle it at all. But it'll shuffle it randomly each time you start that campaign.
Okay. How many players?
You only have to do.
How many players is this? How many players is this game? How many co-ops?
I know it's at least 3 players. I can't remember if it's 4 players. I'd have to usually double check. I know it's 3 players. So if you wanted to join us, you could, or we could join your world. Either way, but it's more Dark Souls than it is roguelike.
I mean, the Dark Souls.
It's a Dark Souls shooter. It's actually an easier Dark Souls, and it's actually super fun. I've had nothing but fun playing this.
Dalan,
I really like Dark Souls.
I got a new camera, man. Is this still the old one right now? It doesn't look it's very blurry right now. If I had the other one, which I hope is a little crispier, you could see my disgust, man. Like, I don't like what I'm hearing at all. Like, Dark Souls is like this, but easier. But it's also like Elden Ring. It's rough, man.
No, it's nowhere near Elden Ring.
Okay. But it is co-op, man. Co-op makes everything better.
Yeah, honestly, co-op made it significantly better when you're trying to actually go out there and get items, guns, and go through these dungeons, fight these gigantic bosses. It's just easier to have a second person to help pick you up.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it, man. Good thing. Hey, good thing you're having fun with it. You were playing it even if it wasn't on Game Pass, or you're playing it because of Game Pass. Did you?
I bought the game originally on PS5. Okay. So one thing I'll actually say about the game, because now I've tested it on both PS5 and Xbox Series S. Maybe it's because I'm on Series S, but those textures sometimes didn't want to load. I was seeing it off the bat. PS5, never noticed it whatsoever. Xbox Series S, immediately I'm like, what happened to this door?
Dalan.
And then suddenly all the textures pop in.
I'm telling you, man. Okay. Xbox Series X, $350. Buy the one with the Diablo packed in. Just do it. Just do it. Don't be scared. Man.
Just do it. You
Don't
deserve it for
Look,
yourself.
You do
Hey,
deserve
it's Christmas, Carlos. Get me an Xbox for Christmas. I'll appreciate it. I won't even ask anything from you for next year.
And look, that's the end of our show. Carlos Messias, the master of what, Dalen?
Master of buy me an Xbox.
Oh,
Series
okay.
X.
Now we changing it up. Dalen
The Blue
Kirkwood,
Factory, sir.
from Up in the Mountain. I'm glad you're having fun with Remnant 2, Dalen. And
I am.
Yeah, maybe
I'm about to go play it right now after I'm done recording.
That's a ringing endorsement right there. Actually, you can. Do you crossplay from PS5 to Xbox or no? You just started at Xbox.
That particular game you cannot.
Okay, there you
So
go.
I had to start over, but I didn't mind starting over, and that's when I found out that they were generated differently. I was like, why is this world so different? I went to Ricky's campaign. Why don't you have these dungeons? What the heck is this monster? I don't remember this boss.
Anytime you tell me shit about randomly generated stuff, then I'm
No,
less
again,
excited. I'm
Carlos,
less excited, sir.
Carlos,
Less hyped.
I'm sorry. I got to take a step back because I need you to understand that it does not randomly generate it as you go on. They just generate it one time. They generate one campaign for you, and you can just run through it. It's all the same, regardless if you go to worlds and come back.
The thing I want you to understand, Dalen, is the fact that it's randomly generated at all is upsetting to me. Dalen Kirkwood from Up in the Mountains. Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel. Let's get you out of here, Luis.
Play Remnant 2.
I'm surprised. I think we did okay though, given the fact that it was looking rough. It's good. It's looking rough. We did about 60-ish minutes or so. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys next time. Latest. And Dale, you were falling asleep out there, man. You were conking out.
I was.
Conking out over there. Latest.